everybody, and welcome to the What If Roundtable. The real what if is the friends we made along the way. I'm MasterCoX, and joining me, it's the full gang. It is Sophie B.
Hello.
And, of course, Haverock.
Hello.
Yes, for the first time in a couple of weeks, we have the trifecta. Everybody's here. And
yeah. And also, Minecraft Steve is here with us as well.
Yes, yes.
Minecraft Steve?
Yeah, Steve, of course. Yeah, Steve is now oofing his way into... Oh, and Red Dragon is here too. And Shinku Akuma, we do take donations, and that does go into our segue. The round table is here for you to provide your own ideas for what ifs, and we do take note, us moderators, as well as the people who are speaking right now. This is a good way to get your own what if ideas onto the channel, and we've had a lot. I mean, we're talking like dozens of dozens of suggestions before the stream even began. And Shinku Akuma, we do take donations in the form of super chats, whatever you can. There is no minimum limit, although ideally it does help support the channel in this turbulent time. But it does mean that I can continue to carry on and make all of these nerdy what ifs along with my fellow colleagues. But yes, let's kick off with Nerd King, who's dropped in with a £105 super chat. So that is a big dinger right there. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to have to break out one of the sound things right now. And if it will load. Come on. Load. Again, it's the slow board. I need solid state. Oh, here we go.
Excellent.
Yes, we need big green Vegeta going, excellent. Big green Vegeta. Yeah, Nerd King, thank you so much for your contribution, man. I'm going, no, there are a lot of actors who play Goku. A lot of them go underappreciated or unnoticed. But there was one who always truly got the character. Well, enough talking about Kirby Morrow. But seriously, dude, hoping the others have a great day and happy pre-birthday present. Oh, thanks, dude. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's actually my birthday in 2 weeks. So,
yeah.
Wow.
I'd almost forgotten because there's been so much going on lately. I was like, oh, dang, okay. All right, my birthday in a couple of weeks. Right, I'll be like 34. Jeez, okay. And the best thing about this is that my anniversary... our wedding anniversary, Philly and I, is 4 days after that, so I will never forget our anniversary, because it's 4 days after my birthday. But judging how all lockdown's going on and all that kind of stuff, I think we'll be just getting anniversary takeout, which is fine by me.
And I think me and Sophie have like birthday very close to each other. Right?
I'm in December. So.
Yeah, same. I'm 13 December. I don't remember yours.
I'm the 20th.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So like we are a week apart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. And apparently it was Red Dragon's birthday on Sunday, last Sunday.
Happy birthday
Happy
to Red
birthday,
Dragon.
Red Dragon. Thank you very much, dude.
May your treasure
Happy
trove
birthday.
grow. May your treasure trove grow, so you can, you have a nice, cozy treasure trove in your dragon lair.
Yes, outdo Smaug. Outdo Smaug. So that means just show him that he is not the only cool dragon cat thing. Anyway, let's move on.
Dragon Cat thing. You're talking old school Smaug from the Rankin Bass film.
Of course he does. He's British. Come on.
Yeah, and it sounds like something that DBZA Gohan would say.
I do love me my Rankin Bass films.
The Rankin Bass version. Okay, White Oak 19 starts us off with, people keep asking what if Bulma rebuilt 16, but what if she rebuilt and reprogrammed 19 instead? Oh, man, okay. Well, certainly she donated to the circus. Step right up, folks. Now, come and talk to Mr. 19. He is your jiggly wiggly, sweet patootie, honey bun, android robotic pal clown friend. Like,
but could you imagine him becoming a new friend for Chaozu? That would be epic.
The big Chaozu Big Brother program. There's a love triangle between Chaozu, Tenshinhan, and Android 19.
The big bromance.
No.
It's like
bromance triangle. Bromance triangle.
Yes, bromance. Yeah. Either way, it's a new friend for Chaozu who looks similar to him. But either way. Manifesto. Happy October 1st, because now it's technically the Halloween season. No what if, just curious to ask everyone, what was your genuinely scared or frightened moment in Dragon Ball Z or Super? Mine was always Super Buu arriving. I think for me, probably, and I am going to forget. I'm going to omit the Videl being decked by Spopovich because that's just too obvious. I'd have to say the first time I saw the flashback to when Frieza got rebuilt to Mecha Frieza and just seeing him like completely like stripped bare, like bits of him floating off into space. That was really scary, and just like, and the fact he was still alive. That was proper scary when I was like, when I was seeing it for the first time. So, what about you guys?
My first, the first like really, the thing I thought that was really scary in DBZ was when the later episodes post Ocean Dub were coming out. I was mostly watching them during the Midnight Run, which eventually turned into Toonami, or which eventually turned into Adult Swim, because they would play the uncensored ones on there, which had the original like the cursing dub, and they didn't cut out any of like the more violent aspects. And I saw the introduction of Cell on the Midnight Run, which meant that when he got introduced, I got the full brunt of his drinking people, with the scene where he drinks the guy who's offering to pay Piccolo to save his life.
Oh, that one.
And I was like, oh no! I was just like,
Hey, do you want to see me drink this guy?
And watching this dude melt in his own skin as he got drank up by this needle tail from this bug creature was just horrifying.
There was one DBZA joke that we were considering was it says, I'll pay you money. Money. Gets drunk. And then Cell goes, I have absorbed the money man. Money. It's like...
Yeah, but drinking the money man, yeah, I agree. I think it was pretty scary.
Oh, and Podo has something for you, Sophie. Basically saying, I think it's time for Sophie to forgive Bakugo because manga spoilers. But let's just say the villain was being Nappa, Deku was being Gohan, and Bakugo just pulled the Piccolo.
But did he say the words, I'm sorry? Because until those words come out of my mouth, I don't think I'm gonna forgive him.
Well, it's just like, it's like in DBTA, with Vegeta. And then Gohan's,
oh wow, we are...
Oh wow.
Yeah. Sophie doesn't forgive two people, Bakugo and Team Plasma.
Well, there you go.
That's an old meme. I'm sorry.
Alright, Paparazzi is next. What if instead of Rage Boost, Gohan tapped into Ultra Instinct Omen? Well, there would have to be an explanation about how God Ki got into his system, and how Goku was able to transmit that. And basically, if it was Ultra Instinct Omen, Rage Boost Gohan would have completely trounced Raditz and Nappa and Frieza. Basically, anyone that Gohan fought pre-Trunks would have been annihilated. Or at the very least, they wouldn't have been able to touch him. Like, say, for example, if the power boost wasn't as high as it was in Super. But, like, it would be said to maybe at least just make him untouchable. And Paparazzi says, basically through Chi-Chi from Ox. Oh, yes, of course, because Ox is a power level, like, is 3 times higher than Goku at the beginning of Z, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite inconsistencies from the show. That Ox King had a power level of nearly 1,000, but did nothing with it.
And nobody asked.
Well, I'm sorry, everybody, you just didn't ask. No. Okay.
Nobody beats me, and so I just nobody asked.
Alright, okay. White Oak says, what if Bakugo was a Saiyan? Well, to be honest, Team 4-Star just made him into Bakugita. Or Vegugo.
Oh gosh.
You know?
We would got a very deep character in Dragon Ball.
Such a deep character.
Yeah.
He's got kind of a same personality as it is, anyways. Though, considering the fact that like he views heroism as entirely like a numbers game, like and he's definitely one of those fatalists that think that people who have the edge from birth are the ones who are like meant to be the heroes. You know, it's taken a lot to change his opinion on that. And I can't even say that I really think that he's changed all that much from what I've read. It's one of the reasons why I just want him to actually vocalize an apology to Izuku directly, because it's like, I know some people say actions speak louder than words, but those words are very, very, very important words that need to be said to kind of hammer home the fact that he isn't a bad guy, or at least he's learned his lesson. Because otherwise, he is just sort of like the most annoying parts of characters like Vegeta and the Saiyans in general. So he's kind of already there.
Or as far as Sophie's concerned, he could just go away. Either or works.
He could. He. Well, see, here's the thing: is I don't want him to just be out of the story. Obviously, that would be a waste of the character. But I mean, I wouldn't mind if like the fan base wouldn't be so obsessed with him.
Oh, hello, Mr. Manifesto, who was the person who actually contributed today's discussion topic. So he says, thanks for today's discussion video, Masako. It's good to be fair. Speaking of, I actually liked Super Buu, and he terrified me in the anime. I suppose, yeah, the first iteration of Super Buu, yeah, because it's like an amalgamation with Evil Buu at the front. And, you know, is quite anarchic, but also can communicate, unlike Kid Buu. But yeah, no, I could definitely see that. But with Paparazzi now, what if Gohan lost an eye when the Z-Sword broke? Well, it would have certainly been quite a surprise, but also it would have been made him really edgy. Like, Gohan lost an eye. He basically has a scar like Yamcha. So that makes him an edgelord. Yeah.
It's kind of like a more extreme example of like what happened with Gohan in the Bad Future. Because Future Gohan had like the scars and stuff.
Yeah. Manifesto again. What if Super Buu was the original form of Majin Buu instead of Kid Buu? Stayed same after Good Buu removed and still fought Super Saiyan 3 Goku on Kai's world. Well, certainly would have been stronger than Kid Buu, and probably less crazy. Probably wouldn't have actually destroyed the planet. Like, at least it would have taken him a lot more. He would have just probably just gone, if he was on the back foot, he would have gone, that's it, I'm destroying a planet! Yeah, that kind of thing. It wouldn't have just suddenly happened like it did with Kid Buu. Kid Buu just did it. And, you know, Super Buu would have actually... Because Super Buu was really scared. It's like, no, don't take that out! Otherwise I'll be completely out of control! Like, he does have fear. So, you know, it wouldn't have led to being on... You know, it wouldn't have led to Earth being blown up at the very least. Let's just say that. Otherworld?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks very much, Otherworld, for becoming a member. Welcome to being a masochist.
Welcome.
Thank you, fellow masochist. White Oak 19. What if Turles came to Namek during the Frieza saga? Well, if it were during the Frieza saga, and Turles did that, and there was a tree of might on Namek, Namek's, like, world is not as rich and lush as Earth's is. So the tree would have probably not made as much gains, so Nail might have been able to take him out. Like, it would have been close. Like, say, for example, the tree, instead of getting, like, over 50,000 or whatever it was in the Tree of Might, it would be closer to 35,000. But Nail would have been able to take him out. Nail would have still won, but it would have been a decent fight, at the very least. Interesting interlude, and also it would have been a really good way of showcasing exactly how strong Nail was. So everyone would have gone like, wow, Nail, you're so cool. Huh, I know. So, good narrative plot points for Nail. Manifesto again. We forget, Vegeta's got 2 redemptions in the Buu arc. After trying to take out Fat Buu in vain, and when he pleaded with the Earthlings to give up energy. Yeah, he did, but he didn't do it in the best way possible. He basically was shouting at them, like, calling them idiots and get on with it. Like, he did it in the best way Vegeta could, but it wasn't the most altruistic way of doing it. Let's just say that. But
he did it in a very non-politic manner, and it's like, dude, dude, the fate of the Earth is at stake. You can talk to people politely, and that you know, you get more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, it was just a gag, you know. Like at this point, Vegeta
Of
was
course.
already, you know, on the side of the good guys, but still not really comfortable with this.
Yeah, he still kind of needed a workshop that. Okay,
Yep.
Otherworld. An interesting. Oh, in Otherworld now, member goes an interesting one right here. What if Vegeta's group wasn't the only one to disobey Frieza's orders? Or put simply, what if more Saiyans survived? Well, in theory, there probably are Saiyans still out there that did survive but have just gone radio silent. But after all this time, they'll either be extremely old or they'll died of old age, and they wouldn't. And if there were any female Saiyans, it would have been very lucky if they went with male Saiyans. So you would
Still,
you
I have a secret for you, Otherworld. If they need more Saiyans, they will retcon them in.
Yes, exactly.
That's why
Well,
we.
here's
Yeah.
something that might be interesting. All right, here's something that might be interesting. If you consider the fact that, like, now that we're getting far enough into the timeline, that if you revealed, like, you know, more survivors from the destruction of Planet Vegeta now, then you'd be risking, you know, a lot of those characters being older, especially since many of those characters would be much older than both Goku and Vegeta were at the time. So what you do is you don't have to introduce those characters as the survivors themselves. Introduce their descendants.
A colony.
Because
A colony
There
of
is,
Saiyans.
yeah. Well, it doesn't even have to be a colony, because even if it was only like a handful of Saiyans that survived, and even if all of those were female or all of those were male, we already know that Saiyans will Saiyans who fall in love with an alien might marry them, like with Tarbell. You know, Tarbell's got an alien wife. But we also know that at least for some races, Saiyan genetics are compatible for hybridization, and so you could introduce, like, I mean, honestly, if you wanted to find a way to maybe retcon the Herons to be relevant, you might consider making them a descendant hybrid species of survived Saiyans from planet Vegeta and a different alien race, perhaps, or something similar along those lines, where you introduce characters that have subtle Saiyan-esque designs in their features, and then you reveal over the course of, you know, however long in the arc, that they had Saiyan parents who survived the original destruction of Vegeta.
Mm-hmm.
Clever.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you did there. Not bad, not too shabby. Papa Archer's up next with, what if Namekian plus God Key equals Angel? Well, in theory, it goes by with the whole theory about Zalama being the first Namekian, and that all Namekians are spawned from him. So, in theory, yeah, you'd almost like be able to make the second Zalama, in a way. Not maybe as strong as him, or them, but it's all about, you know, it's something, you know, maybe if a Dragon Clan Namekian had then contained God Key, they might be able to make superpowered Dragon Balls, which are like low-tier Super Dragon Balls. Like, the amount of wish power would be massively increased without the penalty of the Black Star Balls. So in theory, that's the thing. If Piccolo is still a Warrior Clan member despite having Kami inside of him. Giggity. Basically,
oh god,
it's basically it's just it's all about the fact he is a Warrior Clan, so he'd be really strong, but no Super Dragon Balls. But I'd say it's totally plausible of being like the second coming of Zalama, perhaps.
I would say, keep in mind that it is kinda, you know, hinted that Kami does possess some sort, like his powers are of godly origin. So, you know, like he may have a little bit of God Key, So that doesn't necessarily make Zalama. I think in order to make something Zalama-esque, you would need to have a lot of Namekians fuse and then add God Key on the top.
True. Hannah Rowan, in the spirit of Halloween, what are all your scariest DBZ GT Super moments. One of mine is Goku's nightmare during the Android saga. Well, I'm afraid, Hannah, we already kind of got that answered by, you know, a fellow stream viewer. But to reiterate, mine was when we first saw Frieza being eviscerated and basically being torn apart and still alive in space. That was scary for me. But yeah, we already kind of went over them, Hannah.
Imperfect Cell is scary. Certain fight in Buu Saga is scary.
Yeah.
Dogs being shot at are upsetting and scary and unnecessary, brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those moments. You know, like when we in Poland had that weird French intro, Rikum was kind of scary.
Oh yes, of course.
Because he looked like a main villain of the. He was all bloody and terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that there's a lot of stuff that kind of gets into that existential territory as well. Like, when you consider some of the ways that that way the afterlife works, or if you consider some of the ways that certain monsters affect the characters. I've always found the concept of like absorption to be scary, whether it's the Cell method or the Buu method. The Cell method is a lot more gruesome, obviously, when he drinks people or like uses his tail. It's like more viscerally gross. But the Buu method is also scary because it's like, yeah, they kind of show that you're unconscious while you're inside, but at the same time, we're not entirely certain if that's the case. And since he's able to manipulate the people's like memories and stuff like that he's absorbed, by like tapping into them, so that he can, you know, further manipulate the people he's fighting with that. There's a lot of existential dread that I think that I kind of tend to focus on a bit more than the more raw, like, oh, that's scary looking, or oh, that's scary to witness, or oh, that's really evil sort of situation. Yeah. And I mean, everybody knows that the most evil people in the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, the entirety of Dragon Ball universe, in fact, are the humans who killed B.
Of course, that is Van Zant. Van Zant, how dare he?
Van Zant is the most evil villain in the entirety of the Dragon Ball universe, bar none, and you will not change my mind on this.
I would love to see a skit when Frieza and Cell are like, what the F, man? Like, yes, we wouldn't shoot a puppy. You guys destroy planets. Yes, but not specifically puppies. You know, like,
we would willingly destroy wild animals. They've done nothing wrong. Also, they do not make a profit. So what? They're of no use to me. I do not kill things that are useless. I make fun of them, but I do not kill them. That's why I kept Vegeta around for so long. No, yeah. Okay. All right. Vulcan's next. What if Gohan was raised by a strong Hercule after Goku and Chi-Chi were not alive anymore? The Dragon Balls cannot revive them. How would that impact Gohan? I feel like it would make him a bit more, like, confident in himself, like, overly confident. But Hercule is not a bad person. He's not a bad dad or anything like that. He'd have a very loving father who would take him in. But in terms of that, it would still be the goofball dad. Like, that's the thing. He's not a bad person. Yeah, he's a very selfish person and very, you know, self-obsessed. But at the end of the day, he isn't a bad person. So Gohan would still be a good person. So I don't think there would actually be, and I don't think it would impact him too much.
I think we would have, you know, a Heinz Doofenshmirtz situation, like questionable person, but a good father.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Manifesto. What if Raditz told Piccolo that he was Namekian just before Raditz, Piccolo, and Goku fought, and before Raditz and Goku bit the dust? More ways to prepare then? Not really. I mean, because at first Piccolo wouldn't believe him. Wouldn't believe him, and it would take like multiple things for Raditz to say that you are a Namekian. But it's at that time. Piccolo was more suggestible and more like seriously thinking about the Saiyans when Vegeta and Nappa arrived. So like, oh, he'll think, oh, Raditz was just somebody that just made it up and stuff like that, just to kind of throw him off and stuff. So I think really it
You
wouldn't have
know-
actually made that much of a difference.
It probably wouldn't make much of a difference in the long run, but it might have gotten at least like it might have made Kami more interested in seeing about more about his past, obviously, while Kami was still alive. So Kami might have at least because Kami watches the battles, the whole time
Yeah.
from the lookout. So if that reveal came to Piccolo, Kami would obviously know about it at that time. So he would have probably like had Popo like go to the ship, probably would have done a little bit more looking into that himself. And he may have even thought like maybe reaching out another olive branch to Piccolo to try and see whether or not they could sort of mend fences and forget about their past enmity. I don't think it would have worked because Piccolo hadn't gone through his very important character development with Gohan yet.
Yeah.
But it might have been an interesting little just a little character thing that DBZ could have done.
Okay. Paparacha, what if all transformations were visually magical girl transformations? Oh, basically like when Frieza goes Golden Frieza. Oh, well, seriously, it would have cut down on the animation, that's for sure. Because when they did that with Golden Frieza, they used it like 3 times. So they were definitely... And Toei invented that. Toei are the grand masters with Sailor Moon for doing that. As well as in Tokyo Mew Mew and Pretty Cure. All these things.
I love magical girl transformations, and so I got a real kick out of Frieza's transformation into gold.
Oh, that was great. That definitely was a lot of fun, but it would certainly take up even more time. But there'd be less filler because there'd be less need for filler. That's the takeaway from that. Podo then says, remember last week when I asked about Gohan unlocking Super Saiyan God during the Cell games, and you said Whis would take an interest and start training him? What would everyone's daily lives be like with Whis just introducing himself and then popping in to hang out now and then over the 7-year time skip? What about the Boo Saga? Would Vardos check out her bro's pet project? I think Whis probably wouldn't actually come that often. And I think, obviously, it would be a case of, like, not wanting to blow his cover and probably not say who he is. Like, he wouldn't say, I'm an angel. He could basically just make up any story and they believe him because of power. Like, he would just flick something. Oh, they try and attack him. They dodge. And he just attacks them back, like, in defense. But it would just like, oh dear. They're basically... He could say whatever he wanted. He could just say whatever he wants. Who's gonna check him?
I always love to imagine, like, if any of these godlike characters, right, or angel-like characters ever, like, needed to be on the down low, right, because they were looking into something or they wanted some mortal or something like that. I love the thought of them like attempting to blend in. So it's like Whis, instead of being all dressed up and stuff like that, and risking somebody like maybe like Kami because he's the guardian of Earth, Dende or whatever, whoever's there at the time, or like one of the Kais, because the Kais are constantly, with the Dragon Ball crew and stuff like that. If Whis was to show up on Earth, I love the thought of him doing the whole like I'm in disguise bit with like wearing a trench coat and fedora
and fake mustache.
What's your name? What are you saying? Oh, an angel. Are you an angel, sir? No, my name is Angel. Chris Angel.
My name is Angelo.
Yeah. I really wanted to do Chris Angel.
Angelo White.
Yes.
Angelo White. Yeah.
No, it's pronounced wheat. Angelo Wheat. No,
Wheat.
Angelo Wheat.
Yeah, Gobi. Or he could borrow a person's body, Kami style, from OG Dragon Ball.
Yeah, true. By the way, guys, we got 5 minutes until the cutoff. 5 minutes until the cutoff, and then no more super chats after that because we got a ton of them, and we really need to speed through these. We got loads. We haven't even scratched the surface at the moment. Okay, Manifesto. What if Falconer got the chance to compose music for Super's English dub like he did for DBZ? Would that be a good addition or deny us the music we already got? I honestly think that... No, I prefer... Sumitomo's soundtrack at the beginning of Super was a bit hit and miss. especially do 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 that one. No, but by the end of it, yeah, no, Sumitomo found his groove, and the Broly soundtrack. The Broly soundtrack was fantastic. Like, that was like, okay, Sumitomo, you're getting your stride now. Okay, you got it. You cracked it. But I don't know. I think it would be pandering to dub favorite, people who like the dub back in the day. And you can't really do that nowadays. Like, back in the early 2000s and late 90s, you could easily change the soundtrack, because who's anime in Japan? What? Yeah, say what? No. Yeah, you could pretend it's a wholly different thing. So, I just feel like, and also I just feel like the guy's just doing it for the money. I don't know. I don't know. I'm up in the air with that one, because I changed from the Canadian dub to the English dub so many times. I don't really have that connection with the Falconer music.
Same. Like, Yep.
I totally have that connection with the Faulkner music, but at the same time, there's a lot to kind of unpack there, and I think that a lot of the appreciation also comes sort of from a place of nostalgia, because it's like, and it's also a kind of relevant to like the era that it occurred in, right? So like when Faulkner's music was kind of a big thing, there was this huge push to try and like make everything really like what's the term that I'm looking for, like edgy and badass, edgy, right? So you had a lot of electric guitar, and you had a lot of like fast riffs, and you had a lot of really intense music, right? Whereas with like the original Dragon Ball soundtrack and stuff that came out of Japan and stuff was like, it had lots of like brass section, and it had a lot of these like orchestral pieces, like King Piccolo's piece and stuff like that. And there was some interesting things that they'd done in some of like the movies and stuff when it came to like remixing or reimagining some of those songs. But when it comes to Faulkner, like, I think a lot of it's colored by like the nostalgia of the era. Like, I know that I love the Faulkner Cell theme, and I love the Faulkner Boo theme, because it's got this almost like, in the same way that Boo's name is a reference to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. That whole Disney thing, it's kind of got this weird sort of like dark twist on like a fantasy jingle, almost like with those films to it. And of course from the Saban era, you had the it's not Faulkner track, but the Rock the Dragon is like, that's my Dragon Ball opening song. Even though I love the Japanese opening to Dragon Ball Z, I love Rock the Dragon so much. And it's not a super great song, and they only made it for the sake of having a song that would be as memorable in those 90s kids' minds as the Power Rangers song was.
Which it did work. Yeah. It did work, to be fair. Okay, APC. Oh, by the way, guys, I'll actually, before we do that, Super Chats are now closed. Thank you so much for your contributions, everybody. We've had a ton of these, and we really need to rattle through them, because I think we're not even a fifth of the way through the list, and we've been going for half an hour. Oh, God. So, yeah, we need to speed up. So, let's go Super Saiyan with this one. But either way.
Sarah Bakir, stop spamming, or I will ban you.
No, that's not the way that we do things, everybody. So don't spam in the chat, because it's just not fair, and it's annoying to other people. Just saying. Okay, APC. What if Inspector Gadget was Android 16? Go Gadget hands! Go Rocket Punch! Yes, it's like, wowzers.
I mean, he sneezed and a dog would defeat Cell.
Yeah, exactly. As I will get you next time, 16. Next time. So you basically just have that stuff. It'd be a lot more goofier, and you'd have the definite Brobot. I'd find that funny. APC. Yep. What if Krillin's bald head caused the Saiyans to transform? I know hypnotism was involved with Man-Wolf, but still. To be fair, they do sort of make fun of Krillin's bald head in some episodes. So what if it gets to that point that, you know, a young Krillin, with the amount of Blutz waves generated for reflecting the moon, like a half moon's light off Krillin's head, turns Goku into a great ape. So basically, in future, Master Roshi tells, yes, you always have to wear a hat at night. If you're going to be training with Goku at night, you have to wear a hat. It's like, but Master Roshi, hats just make me clammy.
You know what though? What's so funny is that if Toriyama had fully known how he was going to retcon Goku's origin and stuff like that, and how it all works, I almost feel like if he were to go back and redo Dragon Ball, that's totally the Toriyama kind of joke that he would do.
Yeah.
At least once. Yeah. At least once.
Yeah.
Okay, Vulcan, what if Goku married Suno, and what if Vegeta married Launch? Well, Launch would have been an interesting thing for Vegeta, but I suppose less caring, ultimately, despite the brash and very, forceful nature. It would have just been very forceful, but also at the same time, it's something that would have appealed to Vegeta. But, so I think decent marriage, alright. Goku married Suno. Suno admired and basically, thought Goku was the greatest thing on Earth as a kid. Whether that would stay the same when they were older, don't know. But either way, Suno would pretty much let Goku do whatever he wanted.
Which is not exactly always the good thing.
No, not really. Yeah. So yeah. Manifesto. Didn't you find Super Buu terrifying? I certainly did. Especially with the Evil Buu and Super Falcon attacks. Also, he raised the stakes, right? Yeah, that's true. If you go from innocent Buu to Super Buu, that's a pretty big change. So yeah, that is good. But that's right before that isn't until about the 8 or 9 other Buu transformations show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, before then, Super Buu. Yeah, absolutely, because he was stone cold. So yeah, I did find.
Oh look, this one has a nose and a shirt.
And wears Piccolo's clothes for some reason. And, that one has no neck. Okay. But sell toys,
No neck from Namek.
Yeah. APC. What if the real reason the Uzarus go crazy is because there are no bananas to be found no matter where they look? To be honest, the only planet in all of the world that can satisfy a Saiyan is Earth because they have bananas.
Banana.
It's like basically... It's like, hey Vegeta, I'll give you a banana. It's like, banana. Uzaru minions.
So you're saying that if a Namekian space pod had crashed on Kong Island or whatever from Donkey Kong, everything would be perfectly fine because there's so many bananas that the Ozaru would be perfectly satisfied.
Yeah, they got their bananas.
But that's why Saiyans redeem, and maybe that disgusting juice that Broly was drinking was a banana juice. Maybe it wasn't bugs. Maybe
juice.
Yeah,
exactly.
Vampa had just very weird bananas.
It's a banana milkshake. There you go. Paparazzi, what if Future Bomber turned a willing Pilaf gang into androids? Oh man, those would have been sleeper hits basically. Like, you send in Android Pilaf and Android Shu, these two little robots, 1718 wouldn't have taken seriously. And then basically, come on, let's get them, boss! Ah, yes, right there! And then they basically just beat the living daylights out of these teenagers. It's like, I knew you pesky teenagers would not be much for us. It's like, yeah, you go home to where you go and eat and listen to edgy music.
I just imagine that they could, combine into either a Voltron or, something like Android 13.
Oh,
yes. Blue Pilaf. Blue muscular Pilaf for some reason.
Exactly. Unstoppable. Blue and completely taciturn. Basically. Manifesto. Toriyama. It says Toriyama. I'll put in the minor story on Broly. He sees the community hating the beginning. Toriyama. I don't understand. I don't think people hated the beginning of the Broly movie.
No.
I was like, I don't think that I thought it was like fine. I thought it was good. It was better than mine.
Personally,
it was an improvement.
Personally, I thought I shared a lot of the same opinions as, like, say, the folks over at Team 4-Star when they did their review of it. That it was better. It was better than Minus in many ways. It was worse for certain characters like Bardock and his crew, since we didn't get to see the full scope of like Bardock's crew or anything like that. But also better in some ways, because like, I think a lot of folks agree, I do especially, that the future sight aspect of like the Bardock special was always kind of eh, and so Bardock instead deducing that there's a threat based upon the fact that it's like, this is how I, being a conqueror of planets, would lure people into a trap, right? Like the idea that he's got a bad feeling because it's like Frieza's gathering us all into one place because he wants us all in one place for something nefarious. He's probably planning on doing something horrible to us, and he thinks this way because it's the way that somebody who conquers planets and kills societies thinks. And so that deduction aspect of it, I think, is better than him just getting a vision of it, and then trying to warn people and nobody believes him.
Yeah.
And but since he shows up at such a late point in time, that there's no warning anyone about it in the first place. So his one option is like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna steal a space pod so that you and I can put our son in the space pod, Gine. And that's the short and long of it. So I actually thought that was better in a lot of ways.
Not to mention that, like, Broly movie finally sold me science as a society, as a believable society, and not just like magical fighting anime people. Like, you could see how they function, and I really like that.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that.
Okay, right. Podo did clarify about the whole Gohan thing with the Whis thing. So I think if they did have a chance to train, I feel like Whis and Gohan would actually take the job seriously. And I feel like ultimately that Whis would train him enough to be able to use the God power. But I think if he went too far, I think Beerus would start to get a little bit annoyed. Like, if he has this vision, then finds out that this kid can use this new blue power that he has no idea about, I think he would have many questions for Whis, and basically would tell the Grand Priest that, oh, my angel has basically been doing things without my orders.
My angel is broken, please.
Yeah.
I would
Send
like
a
to
new
service
one,
him.
please. So that's to kind of go what you were saying, Podo. Paparacha, what if Cheelai met Broly, OG Broly? I think it would have been enough, maybe, at least, because the thing is, though, Broly before seeing Kakarot was relatively docile. So I think, really, you just get the same thing, with basically Cheelai actually getting through to Broly without using, a magic pendant. But I think it would still have failed, but at least they might have been able to, find a way to at least stop him from going totally mad. But less effective.
I think it really depends on how far gone you think OG Broly is when it comes to his raw insanity, because there's some parts in that movie that really kind of showcase that when he isn't being actively controlled by Paragus' special jewelry, that he's way more psychotic than New Broly is. So that might still have just ended poorly.
No, I agree. Craig says, what if Jiro fused with Future Jiro? Well, basically how GT works, we'd have ended up with Super Jiro. Like, this tall, muscular, silver-haired doctor with a massive beard and very long hair that he has to sweep back every 10 seconds. That's how it works. We'd have had Super Jiro.
Super 20.
Super 20. So, yeah, you'd have had that, based on how GT works. That would have been better than having Dr. Mew and Jiro in the same room, at the very least. Right.
It would have certainly been something.
Yeah. Paparacha, what if the Dragon Balls couldn't revive people, but the rules for temporarily returning were a lot more lax? It's sort of similar to what I did for a what if of what if the Dragon Balls couldn't revive people, only with more technicality. I think Barber would be more willing to have people come back, because to be honest, during the many of the sagas, a lot of the stuff takes place within hours. So you could easily have them come back to help. So I guess it would just, not much would really change. It's just the bits in between would not have them really interacting with their people, really. There you go. APC. What if Gine was like Broly, and that was the real reason why she was taken off Bardock's squad? Oh, okay. So, like, has this low power normally, but goes entirely berserk and almost uncontrollable in battle, and that's why she's relegated to the sidelines. But
I would like that. That kind of harkens back to Goku's sort of wild nature when he landed on Earth.
And innate potential of being able to, basically challenge the gods. It would explain a lot of things, actually. So I like that, APC. Let's make a note of that.
Yeah.
Paparazzi again. What if habitable planets were too rare to allow Frieza to destroy Vegeta? Well, if that were happening, then Frieza would have been probably less rich because there were so few planets. So, or it would have made him even richer. Like he was able to, like, it depends on like what the market would have been like with fewer planets available for sale.
And he would just
on...
he would just call science on the space station or something like that.
He would have just like told them to go somewhere else and kept the planet.
Well, yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say is Frieza's hatred of the Saiyans and mistrust of the Saiyans runs deep enough that he would have probably just told them to meet at a forward operating, like a Frieza base that was on a non-hospitable planet or something, so that he could gather as many of them there as he could, and not do damage to his bottom line by destroying them all.
No, exactly. Exactly. APC. Possible April Fools or a discussion. What if the Ox King was a deity in disguise related to Yama? He fell in love with an Earthling girl, sort of like Chris, down to Earth.
I like this.
Yeah, I mean, that would explain a lot, to be honest. Like, Yama's little brother. Like, literally little brother.
Yeah.
You know. So, let's make a note of that, actually. I'd like that as a side what if.
Yeah.
Cool. Manifesto. What if we got consequences after 17's wish in 131 and proper development for each universe, before throwing in so many fighters in the Tournament of Power before being erased? So, okay, we got consequences. Well, you kind of have that sort of happening. Like, the Pride Troopers and Jiren are a lot more open. Jiren is a lot less, like, internalizes less stuff. I imagine probably the Kamikaze Fireballs are a lot, more kind of, like, chilled and stuff like that. Like, Ribrianne has truly learnt the power of love due to the fact that, Android 18 could love somebody that doesn't have a nose! That's the thing. So, she'd have learned a lot of stuff from that. So, there would have been consequences, actually. So, honestly, we sort of would if Super did continue, Manifesto.
Yeah.
Paparazzi. What if Dr. Slump attracted Whis' attention for the capabilities of Arale? I think Whis would have found her really funny. Just the fact that she's this gag character. But I don't think... But he would probably just like, oh, that's a really cute little thing. Can I train it? Well, no, not really. It's an android. Yeah, there's not really much potential for growth. Oh, shame. Oh, well.
Considering that Arale is a gag character, I think it would be more like she's this gag character with like the potential to be able to destroy the universe, so to speak. I think the Grand Priest would have more of a reason to take an interest in Arale, because what if Arale became Zeno's playmate?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the universe would have been saved because Zeno would have had the ultimate playmate.
I can I imagine that scene, like Whis being asking about Arale and Grand Priest just pops out. I'm taking Arale, goodbye.
I'm taking Arale, goodbye.
Alright, Otherworld. What if Broly, instead of being shot off to Vampa, was allowed to stay and ended up being in Vegeta's crew with Nappa and Raditz? Well, I think if that would have happened, then they probably would have... King Vegeta would have offed Paragus for a start, and claimed Broly to be his son. So
check our What If King Vegeta Could See the Future.
Exactly. Yes, I almost forgot. We do have a what if that does answer that question. So do check that out. What if King Vegeta could see the future? There you go. Paparazzi. What if the Z Fighters competed in the 24th Budokai and Goku went to the Cell Games as the champion? Okay, if Goku went to the champion, there probably would have been a lot more attention on them, and I think it would have actually thrown people off their game because of all the television. Like, you'd have had Jimmy Firecracker going in there and like talking with everybody more and basically getting in their face.
And taking their jobs.
Oh, well, I mean, it would have been interesting considering the fact that when you really break it down, it's kind of a gathering of former champions, barring barring the presence of Master Roshi, aka Jackie Chun. Like, Tien's there, he's a former champion of the Budokai. Goku's there, he's a former champion. Piccolo's there, he's a former runner-up. Krillin's there, former competitor. Yamcha, former competitor. Like, most of the people who are there for the Cell games are all former Budokai competitors of some note from that pre-Hercule
Their
era.
enemy is the amalgamation of those champions.
Exactly.
Oh yes, of course. Oh, true. That's a bit of a paradox, but nice though. Craig, what if Jiro made an army of dino androids? That would have been fantastic, especially in the early 90s, because
Beast Wars, Dragon Ball Beast Wars.
Beast Wars with Skeet Ulrich as leader one. Oh no, that's GoBots. Sorry, but either way, Beast Wars. It's basically Beast Wars. There you go. Paparacha. What if Android Yamcha or Yamtron works like Inspector Gadget? You know what? Honestly, if this wasn't a serious what if, that's exactly how Yamtron would have operated. Like, he'd have been that goofy guy who has these android-like powers and basically say to Bulma, oh, come on, when I jump, can I please have springy legs? Come on, you can do it, right? You can do anything, babe.
You can fly.
I know. I just like to spring off and it looks cool. Fine, whatever. Awesome. Like, he'd have just gotten these really gimmicky things that don't really have much use but just look cool. There you go. Craig, what if Jiro turned Vegeta into an android? Well, if he did that, he would have been a really powerful android. There would have been the capabilities of Super Saiyan working that into Infinity Engine. Yeah, I'm playing the sound. Vegeta would have had no reason to hold back, and basically, yeah, everyone would have been toast. Manifesto. I personally don't believe that was Moro begging Goku for mercy. I think it was 7-3 or his mind rising to the surface in Moro and begging to be let out. That's a good theory, actually. But it has to be a case of maybe it's like Moro's spirit has been weakened so much during to the fact he's being beaten up that 7-3's essence is slowly coming to the fore again. Like, he's in there somewhere. Maybe. But it's interesting in a way.
I still think it's a classical, it's a trap.
Yeah, it is a trap, but it's a nice idea, actually, Manifesto. Now that I think about it, yeah, it's a cute idea. It's... narratively speaking, it's compelling, but I wouldn't give Toyotaro that much credit, to be honest. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Craig Twitchell. What if the Red Ribbon Army took over the world? Playing the sound. Basically, if they did, they'd have jacked up the prices for everything, made loads and loads of money. The Dragon team would have been completely run to roost. Because they would have had all this power, and yeah, it would have had to take everybody together to try and stop them. But Red Ribbon Army would have probably taken over Capsule Corp. The Hoi Poi capsules would have been a thing. They wouldn't have had the money from Bulma and the assistants to be able to help them. And the Dragon Radar, no Dragon Radar. So Dragon Balls would have been completely ringed out off by the Red Ribbon Army. There you go.
You would have probably wound up with a plot that's very reminiscent of some of the old, like, Big Brother-esque plots of back in the day, where there's an all-controlling sort of corporate government that runs everybody's lives, and you wind up with a small group of rebels who try to fight back from the remnants of the old society.
Yeah.
That's kind of what would happen if the Red Ribbon Army wound up taking over.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. Craig Twitchell. What if Jiro was the last of the Tuffles? Well, that would have made Dr. Light-Chi canon, and with a gaping, shocked expression like you get from the OVA. Yeah, Dr. Light-Chi would have just been personified. Gobi. What if GT Goku has been split in two, i.e. yin and yang? Okay, so basically, like, maybe if you split Goku into two, like, you'd have had, like, the young Goku and the adult Goku, like the serious Goku and this carefree Goku.
That's not a bad idea,
It's not a
actually.
bad idea, but how would you implement it? Because otherwise, I'm thinking, oh no, you'd have 2 Gokus going off and replacing Trunks. So it'd have been 2 Gokus and a Pan. What? Yay! Great.
Well, only one keeps the power.
Oh, true.
And the
True.
kid keeps the power.
The kid's just there to help Pan grow up in some way or something like that.
Yeah, but kid has the power but doesn't want to use it. It's very playful. Adult has all the strategy and stuff, but has the power of the OG Goku, like Goku from the beginning of DB.
Right.
And
okay.
he needs to teach and cooperate with himself, but that kid has kind of a wild nature. So Goku gets the karmic justice of having to deal with his voice, words traits in that kid.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea there.
Yeah.
Connor Moffat, how would you write a GT reboot, but the events of Super happened? I think it would be cool if it led to the Dragon Ball Online timeline. I did do a video about this a long time ago called How Do You Fix a Problem Like GT? So I'd recommend you go and check that out, Connor, because that would answer your question to the letter. Craig Twitchell, what if Jiro's character was open to magic? How would that affect the story? What if Bulma was Jiro's... okay, so what if Bulma was Jiro's daughter, and what if she could use magic? If she could use magic, it would probably be magically enhanced. It's basically like how materia works
Magitech.
in FF7. Magitech. It's
Or
basically...
or Magitech in FF6, yeah.
Yeah, sort of like that. So basically, it would just be enhanced. Jiro's stubbornness and arrogance would never make him eschew technology entirely. It would be just there as acting as buffs in a way. So it would just be an extra thing. Like instead of the Infinity Engine being a technological marvel, it would just been like an engine imbued with magic fuel.
It would work like in the Eberron setting if anyone knows that.
Yeah. No, I'd say that.
Like Warforged from.
Yeah.
I came up with a concept that was sort of a combination of combining movie plots with something similar to explain how the energy absorption technology that Jiro designed works. Because when I noticed that it's the red crystals in the hands, I was like, what if he used like blood rubies as a core? And so you could make it to where like you canonize certain aspects of that old Dragon Ball film. And you could kind of start to introduce more magical stuff combined with technology as well into the universe in that way. And I thought that would be a pretty interesting way to maybe go about doing it, because as we say often on this stream, more magic in Dragon Ball wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kirby, what if 13, 14, and 15 had been in the Android saga? Well, to be honest, I did a video about what if the DBZ movies were canon, and I did manage to find a way that there was a bit, like, before the android showed up fully, that Goku is having slight heart murmurs with his heart virus, but is still powerful enough to be able to, still be able to kick 13, 14, 15's butt before the other androids show up, 17 and 18. But at the same time, but then I actually explained that that's the thing that accelerates the heart virus to then go when 19 shows up. So it's like, yeah, you destroy 3 androids, but then the next android shows up, and yeah, you're done. So that's that. I'd recommend watching that video, Kirby. Yash Guri. Hey guys, super excited for Multiverse's animated series, by the way. Yes, by the way, check out the community post for a Spanish project that they're animating Dragon Ball Multiverse, and I'm voicing Goku in it. So there you go. Check that out. You can check that on the community tab. Weird what if.
Which one? Which Goku? All of them?
Yes, I can speak Spanish and French and Japanese fluently. Yeah, no. The English one, in the English version.
But which Goku in the multiverse?
I think just the Goku. Or any Goku.
Oh,
I don't know.
So the primary universe is Goku.
Yeah. I think all the Gokus. Alright. Weird what if. What if the non-fighters got their own stories in Dragon Ball R&R? Wink, wink. I can sense you going, damn it, Goku, there is no character muffin button. Basically, that's what I want to do with R&R in a way. Of, like, give the non-fighters, or at least the low-key fighters, stuff to do. So, I can tell you, you will see Suno and the people of Jingle Village more, but I will not say how.
Yeah.
So there you go. So don't worry, you'll have that covered. Gobi. What if Goku's needle fear stemmed from repressed memories of being incessantly poked, prodded, and stabbed with needles as an infant? Oh, how?
Wouldn't that kind of make it a Saiyan thing in general? Like, if the implication there is that, like, when the Saiyans are in their birthing pods, right? Like,
Yeah.
a bunch of prep work has to go into making sure that they grow up healthy. Which, hey, that could be a part of Saiyan genealogy, even like that. One of the reasons they don't use live birth is because of actual complications that might arise. But like, if that was the case, then knowing that Saiyan society has these birthing pods for all of their Saiyan children, I think that would make it kind of like needles would become a fear, like that was probably a sort of subconscious trauma across the entire race. More than likely, so it would mean that Goku has a needle fear, Vegeta has a needle fear, any other true born Broly would have a needle fear.
We don't we don't.
This lesson,
Yeah.
You wouldn't find a Saiyan near a haberdashery.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like you say, Gobi, maybe Goku just had to deal with more needles than usual when he was in the artificial womb. So
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Dark Snake. Hey, Marsika, recently I've been watching What If Raditz Turned Good, and during part 7 you said Raditz got the wish with the Dragon Balls, but I'm pretty sure the Dragon Balls can only bring back a person once unless a retcon. Oh, they got rid of that pretty quickly, especially with Dende. Dende basically...
yeah, even in canon.
You could have multi-res. Yeah, absolutely. And Purunga originally had the, he could only bring back one person at a time. That quickly got forgotten. Basically, that quickly got dropped. No, it was like, no, shut up. It's like, yeah.
And that's the thing, is a lot of that stems from the fact that certain mangaka, Toriyama in particular, but it's also been the case for like other famous mangaka like Naruto's mangaka Masashi Kishimoto and stuff like that. They work on such incredibly intense and demanding schedules that when they're writing their stories, sometimes they do it in almost like a fugue state, and they will forget plot lines to their own stories and stuff like that, or minor details that seem important to the viewer or the reader or whatever, but the author then like forgets about in the offhand. So when they write something else, they wind up with inconsistencies. And Akira Toriyama has been known to outright forget certain things about his plot lines or certain things that happen. And I feel like that's something that happened with the Dragon Balls a lot as well, because the minutia around the Dragon Balls was always so like very specific. Because it's like in OG Dragon Ball, back in the day when you wanted to wish somebody back with the Dragon Balls, you had to make sure that you kept their body on hand, because their body didn't just disappear. You had to make sure you kept their body on hand and kept it well preserved and stuff, so that their soul would be able to return to it when you use the wish.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Kami took the body when Goku sacrificed himself with Raditz. He took the body immediately, and basically that's why Goku could keep his body as well, for all the good deeds that he'd done. Okay, Gobi. What if Goku Black refused to refer to his transmission as rosé because of its association with grapes as a wine? Oh. And it's like,
I have now ascended into this magical divine power. Do you not...
Oh no, sorry. I have to admit,
I have evolved into this form. Do you not think it is beautiful?
it's like,
It's almost like a rosé color. Do not call it like that. I have this body somehow has a really irrational fear of grapes. Hey, future me has that too. Neat.
it's like, I could use it against him.
Ooh, I got this.
Goku's like got his eyes closed. And just this bundle of grapes in front of Goku Black.
Ooh, look at the grapes. It's scary. Go away.
It's like, cease this prattle right now. Do not show the gaze.
Looks like even when possessed by a god, boy still can't handle his grapes.
It's like, and then Goasu's like, looks like that is indeed the grapes of wrath.
Oh no! Oh no!
Jamas.
Poda says, Masaka, why not keep the chat closed until like 1:50 to make it fair for the people who can't show up early? Well, it's only because I basically had a lot of stuff to do, and, you know, Arthur didn't come back from her walk, so I had to kind of do things really quickly, so I had to set up the stream a little earlier, because otherwise it wouldn't have got done, and, basically when I had time, I had to do that. So that's why, Podo, it started earlier than usual. Guardian Tree. Halloween special. What if Goku's heart virus was a zombie virus? Oh, man. That could be a good Halloween special. You know, if it was a zombie plague and stuff like that. So I'll think about that, Guardian. And if Goku learned Super Saiyan 3, would that make his ultimate form stronger or be the same? Well, I think the whole point of the ultimate form is that it doesn't rely on Super Saiyan at all. It's just the maximum potential of you ever, and you can still increase it. So, yeah, Super Saiyan 3 wouldn't make much of a difference. Dark Snake. Hey, Masako. I know I asked this question before, but can't you at least make a manga edition of What If Raditz Turned Good Moro arc? We don't know when Super will return, and I'd really like to see how would Raditz change things. Tell you what, if it becomes clear that we are not going to be seeing Dragon Ball Super come back in any way by the start of 2022, then I will do a What If Raditz special of the Moro arc. If we are here in 15 months' time, there is no sign of Dragon Ball Super coming back, then I will do that. So, Craig, what if the Flood was in Dragon Ball?
Hoo boy. Well, first off, you wind up with a zombie apocalypse, more or less. But you kind of have to ask yourself, okay, well, considering the sheer amounts of energy that the characters of Dragon Ball can put off, right? There's a very distinct possibility that as long as they're the more powerful characters, especially the characters with transformations like Super Saiyan and stuff like that, there's a possibility that they would be immune to the Flood, in much the same way that Sergeant Johnson, if you've ever read the novels, is immune to the Flood. And that's because overexposure to plasma energies and the chemicals present in plasma grenades is what resulted in the mutations in Sergeant Johnson's body that allows him to basically be immune to the Flood. Mm-hmm. So when you think about it like that, there's a good possibility that if a Flood attempted to attach itself to any of the Dragon Ball characters, they could basically spike their ki output, their energy output, right? Mm-hmm. And that energy would more or less destroy the encroaching parasite. So you'd wind up in a situation where all of the ordinary people who don't know how to manipulate ki especially, get taken over and zombified. Mm-hmm. But the ones who do are the ones who basically have to fight back. They'd still be doing a lot of wishing people and loved ones back, because characters like Bulma, Chi-Chi, all of the youngest kids that can't manipulate their energies, or the ones who never learned ki manipulation, Hercule, stuff like that, they would wind up being possessed more than likely.
Yeah, absolutely. Paparazzo, what if the Namek Classic and Yardrat were in the same solar system, like the original Namek and Yardrat were in the same solar system? I think that would actually make sense, because Goku's space pod probably is like in the same area. Yardrat probably isn't that far away, because the life support systems of a Saiyan pod with Goku in that situation probably wouldn't have been able to keep him alive for that long. So I imagine probably Yardrat's only probably several days, maybe a few days in the pod. So probably it's not, maybe in the solar system, like on the other side. Also with Planet Vegeta and Vampa. Well, those are not. Vampa's meant to be on basically in the dust back end of nowhere in the Frieza Empire. It's this forgotten planet, no use to everyone. That's the whole point. That's why Paragus, they went as far away as they could from Planet Vegeta. So they landed on Vampa. So basically, Vegeta and Vampa, they are very far away. So, yeah. So, Namek and Yardrat, so Vegeta and Vampa, I think they would have been found very quickly. Let's just say that. Why don't? What if Goku was like Launch? Okay, well, it would certainly have... been like, oh, when he goes Super Saiyan, becomes really extremely aggressive and stuff like that, and likes guns. So, there you go.
Well, and you could also go the other route and say like OG Dragon Ball, right? What if he was like launching that like taking into account the retcon from Dragon Ball Z that Goku hit his head as an infant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he has these two different modes. He has this aggressive mode, and he has this more friendly, kind mode. Very very similar to Launch actually. So what if he was able to activate the aggressive mode through a sneeze, similar to Launch? I think it would be a little rough for the crew in OG Dragon Ball if that was the case, because dealing with an aggressive, sort of angry and even malicious at times Goku would have probably been very difficult for the group back in OG Dragon Ball.
Yeah, to say the least. To say the least, indeed. Craig, what if Goku-san grab a ball to try sound intimidating? Oh, I could do that. It's like, I like food 'cause it is yummy. I will put you in my tummy. We can have all the rice. All you have to do is go and die. There you go. Just sing it very slowly and in a minor key. It sounds like a serious tone. There you go. Okay. Kirby,
that was good.
What if you guys were time patrollers? Well, who's to say that But basically, I'd have been public enemy number 1 for Cronoa, probably. Like, creating all these what-ifs, I'd be on Cronoa's hit list at the top of it.
Yeah, see, I'd make a very, very poor time patroller, because I would be actively going, how can I manipulate this timeline for the better?
Yes, exactly.
Really?
And for my own ends. It's like, yes. What's that, Cronoa? Oh, you've got a crush on future Trunks? Too bad I'm manipulating the timeline to make him into my boyfriend.
Yeah, we are like we won't be time patrollers, we will be villains of Xenoverse 3.
Yeah, there's a what if that includes us for all of you guys. Us as the villains of Xenoverse 3, the rogue time patrollers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pasho. Not a what if, but have you heard of Breakthrough the Limit? It's a what if Raditz turned good fanfiction from 2012, and it's really worth a read. I have heard of it, yes, but I've been so busy as of late, I've not really had time to really look at these types of things. But I will give it a read when I've got some downtime, especially now I'm working on FF7 Machine Abridged for the finale. I'm starting work on that, so really up against it at the moment. But I'll make a note of it though, Pasho, thank you. Podo. I have ideas for my DBX Undertale what if I'd like to bounce off of you, but doing it in Super Chat would get expensive. Is there any way I can PM you about them? You can just check the business email, mastercodemailbag@gmail.com. You can send it there if you like. But again, I am quite busy, so there is no guarantee I can get back to you in a timely fashion. And he does say when I have time. Okay. But just do put it in there for so that means I've got a record of it. Craig, what if DBZA was a universe in Super? Yes, It's an alternative universe which is only accessible via the powers of GodTube. So basically, you have to go through GodTubes, and basically you end up in our universe. So yeah, basically there's GodTube. There are all these conspiracy theories about the DBZA universe. Does it exist or not? So it's conspiracy videos done by.
It was locked away to not leak into the bigger universe.
What you find out is that there were camera people, or at least people with cameras, like maybe primitive cell phone cameras or something similar in that universe, that were taking footage of the events, but they never had like audio, so nobody knew what anyone was saying during those events. So a group of people went and dubbed them with what they thought was going on, and it turned out to be DBZ Abridged.
Nice. Oh. Alright, Paparazzi. What if Goten taught Boo the fusion dance? He would, because he's too nice. He'd be like, well, it's like,
fusion dance? Tell me, child. What does fusion dance mean?
it's like, well, it's this kind of thing where we do this and we do that. Goten, what are you still trying to do? Sorry, Trunks. He just asked is all. I didn't want to be rude, but he's the bad guy. I know.
And I appreciate you being nice.
like-
You can go. I will kill everyone else, but...
I appreciate your gesture. You will die last. It's like, there you go. Boo will kill you
thanks.
last. So yeah, okay. All right, Kirby. What if Kid Trunks taught Future Trunks fusion? Well, that would have been interesting. But the trouble
With
is, though,
whom?
to who? Yeah, exactly. So it's like, well, it's all very well and good, kid, but who would I fuse with?
Not with Shin.
Unless it's with Vegeta. So you get Vegex. So there you go. You get that fusion. And we do have that in a... There is a what if that I've done recently. I think it's what if Future Trunks and Mai stayed in the past part 3. That's basically that's the what if that goes full heroes, pretty much. So you can find that out there. Dark Snake. Hey Marsico, is there ever a love triangle with Trunks, Mai, and Ranch? If so, who would win, and would Ranch and Mai still be good friends? I think in this timeline, we haven't actually got to the point yet where Mai has arrived in the story.
Yeah,
We're not at
and
that
I'll tell
point
you
yet.
right now, like
Don't do it.
there's a lot of opinions when it comes to some of the folks working on the project, when it comes to Trunks and Mai as a thing in the show. And I think that especially amongst like the female cast members or the people who kind of help out here and there with concepts and stuff like that and brainstorming, like myself, I don't think that I'm of the opinion that making a love triangle, especially a love triangle that includes an original character like Ranch, is a smart move. And that's disregarding the fact that there's a lot of people who don't care for True Mai as a pairing in first place. But like, if that's what the fans want, maybe you guys could like make your opinion known. But honestly, it's really up to Masako in the end. He's the guy who's
Well, the thing
the
is,
mind behind it.
Love triangles are so 80s and 90s. It's just like
It is.
I'd have it be like it'd be sort of like this, silly little crush thing that Mai has or something like that, but it doesn't really go anywhere because it's so clear that Trunks and Ranch are pretty much made for each other. Really? Like Mai basically says, "Yeah, I do like Trunks, but I can't really compete with you. Like you kick my ass."
You are original character, come on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and probably, yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing is you could still make a situation right with future Trunks. If you want to do the whole thing where like say that future Trunks from canon, his timeline still exists without Ranch being present. Now it's not necessarily canon to R&R. I don't know how you've done that as far as the differences between R&R and the actual what if itself. But if you wanted to say that the canon Future Trunks Bad Future still exists, then hey, you still have at least one timeline where Trunks and Mai kind of end up together. It's just is that it's Future Trunks and Future Mai, and it's not present Trunks and present Mai.
Right.
So
Okay.
There
Well,
you go.
I do my what if Future Ranch went to the past thing. That's pretty much what we do for that. But Mai is not mentioned in significance. So
yeah.
Paparazzi says, now I'm pitching a Ranch Mai fusion. Rye or Manch. Manch. But basically, I imagine probably it'd be like, they try it one time just to like see what would it be like and stuff.
I
And
mean,
basically,
listen, like
they learn a lot of stuff from each other.
Mai is a pretty good marksman, so
Oh,
you
yes,
know.
true. Yes, absolutely.
And Ranch having that the usage of guns. If you combine that, you have ultimate key marksman.
True, absolutely. Craig now asks as well, do you have a But Marsico unsubscribe? I do. I haven't played them yet, so here you go.
But Marsico!
And of course the
Unsubscribe!
So I do have those. So there you go, Craig. It's just I've not really had much call to use them lately. Well, okay. Sam Hennis. Hi, Masako. What if Vegeta resisted turning Majin, but being exposed to Barbody's magic gave him a transformation unique to him, like Dark Super Saiyan? Ah, yes. Dark Edgelord Super Saiyan. Imbued with the evil magic of Barbody. Demon Super Saiyan.
Here's the problem with the concept of Dark Super Saiyan. It's the same problem that exists with the concept of dark a lot of things. But here's the main problem with it. Super Saiyan is already dark. It's already a dark transformation. Super Saiyan amps up your aggression. It amps up your anger and your desire to fight. It amps up all of those more animalistic parts of you to make you into a more you're more capable of very, very bad things when you are a Super Saiyan. Like, you look at the of a character like Goku into a Super Saiyan. You look at what happens to Gohan when he achieves Super Saiyan 2. You look at what happens to Vegeta's Super Saiyans and what happens with Goku when he goes Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan as a thing has always kind of been a dark transformation. Now, if you wanted to give him sort of a Super Saiyan transformation with some extra bells and whistles, similar to the way that Rose is Super Saiyan Blue, but with a little extra bells and whistles, that's one thing. But I think if you were going to call it something, you'd want to call it something other than like Dark Super Saiyan.
Yeah, you'd want to have something that's a bit more original, let's just say, because otherwise it's open to being made fun of, like we're doing right now.
If the idea is like he's empowered by Babidi's arcane magic, you call it something like Arcane Super Saiyan, or even just Majin Super Saiyan. Yeah, you know. Or heck, if the idea of Majin, of course, is Majin is a form of saying either demonic genie, which is what Boo is essentially, or magic genie, depending on if you're using the Ma as demon or Ma as short for Maho, being magic. You could do a lot of different little disambiguations there with it, it, calling it Majin Super Saiyan or demonic Super Saiyan or magical Super Saiyan or arcane Super Saiyan. It doesn't have to be dark. Yeah, there's a lot of different concepts.
Craig asks, what if Dragon Ball DBZ was a musical? Oh, we've had this quite a few times, but basically, Vegeta would have many solo ballads about why he's not the strongest and that he needs to beat Kakarot. There'd be like this thing. One day more would be when Goku goes Super Saiyan, after Krillin is destroyed. But yeah, no, there'd be basically just loads of musical numbers and stuff like that. Greg. Again, what if Jerome Bulma switched bodies? Well, if they did, I think Bulma Jiro would probably just like take in as much intel as possible, and vice versa. They just like steal as much information they could from the other until the switch happened again, because they are people of knowledge, so they would want to try and gain more knowledge.
And then for comedy purposes, you'd have Bulma lamenting the fact that she's stuck in Jiro's old man body. Meanwhile, Jiro, he's purely interested in the science, so he doesn't care that he's in the youthful female body of Bulma. He's just interested in the science, so it never even occurs to him.
Even the likes of Your Name, a really touching and emotional movie, has the boy in a girl's body and still cups themselves. And I'm like, it's like, I know you're just doing it because it's a trope, but
Well, and you gotta also remember that it's working with a certain kind of characterization, where like your name is about a couple of teenagers.
Yeah, I know, because of course teenage boys would do that. Of course they would. It's like
any straight, any cisgendered heterosexual male, who's going through those teen problems of puberty and everything else. If they wound up in a girl's body, probably the first thing they're going to do is explore. It's tropey as hell, and it's kind of annoying.
But at least it's only 5 seconds.
It's 5 seconds, and then it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
When you come to characters like Jiro's an old man whose sole interest has been in science for literal decades. He's not gonna care if he winds up in Bulma's body. So he's just gonna put on the lab coat and get to work. The only one who's going to be upset is Bulma, because we know from her characterization in the movies and the show and stuff like that she's very vain. She's very into her appearance and being an attractive woman.
And for comedy purposes, we could see Yamcha and Vegeta actually hitting on her, depending on when it is. I mean, hitting on Jiro Bulma, not Bulma Jiro.
Oh god. Oh jeez, that would have been extremely awkward.
Yeah.
All right, Sam Hennis. Not a what if. I'm wondering how come Evil Boo was not Kid Boo. Kid Boo is just the original pure Evil Boo without the good of the Kais. Ah, right. Okay. The reason why is because basically when Innocent Boo and Evil Boo fought, Evil Boo won and asserted dominant control over that Boo fusion. Because Good Boo was still in there, but basically now the minor factor in that fusion, in that amalgamation. So Evil Boo was in charge to make Super Boo. But basically, when Vegeta cut out Good Innocent Boo from Super Boo, that took out that bit. So basically, Kid Boo is the pure Boo, like pure Kid Boo. That's how it works, Sam. Hope that clears things up. And Paparazzi with the catchphrase, "The real friends are the what-ifs made along the way." That's our catchphrase now. Moiferman, thank you very much for your super chat. And Axel Jade. What if Cell blasted Gohan instead of Trunks at the Cell games, and Trunks ascended to Super Saiyan 2 in response? Well, the thing is, though, there's no guarantee that Trunks does not have the ability to do full power Super Saiyan. He can only go up to grade 3 Super Saiyan. Unless the significance is of, like, seeing another Gohan dying, maybe might be the catalyst. And it might...
The trauma might help.
Yeah, and because you've got that parallel between seeing future Gohan dying and then the present Gohan dying and going, like, no matter what, Gohan still dies by my hands, not doing anything. That would be actually enough catalyst.
Sorry. Trauma might help. Sophie 2020.
Yes, trauma might help. Sophie 2020. Please, God, no! Don't take that out of context. But you also got to remember, it's like, Vegeta and Trunks did spend some extra time in the time chamber after the announcement of the Cell games was kind of a thing, you know, after they escaped from their near-death experience at the hands of Perfect Cell when he was first, when he was first, quote-unquote, born, so to speak. If you combine the fact that whatever strength they might have gained in the extra year of training that they got in the time chamber, plus the added trauma and stuff like that, I could see future Trunks managing to get the win against Cell. I don't think it would have been quite as impactful with the themes of like the passing of the torch and stuff like that, but it would have had its own, sort of character touch for Trunks himself for that arc.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Okay, Craig Twitchell says, what if the Tournament of Power, but it's the different dubs fighting? Oh man, if you
Oh wow! I would. Oh man, I wish that we could get like a proper fight, even with what they did with the Potafu arc, I believe it is what it's called in Dragon Ball Super. Even with what they did in the Potafu arc of bringing Brian Drummond back to voice copy Vegeta, I would love it if you had like the big green Vegeta, the ocean Vegeta, the original, the Funimation Vegeta, and like, the Portuguese dub Vegeta.
No, you just bring the ocean dub cast back to voice all the Tournament Power characters. See, all these voices, man.
And of course,
that's the thing is everyone that what you would want to do is you'd have these characters, right? You'd have these characters voiced by all these different characters. You'd want to pair them up and fight so that it would be all of the same like voice actors who voiced the same character back in the day fighting each other. That's what I meant by like Brian Drummond, the Portuguese dub Vegeta, and all these other guys fighting Funimation Vegeta, but voicing other characters.
I see.
And so what you would do in the end battle, right? What you would do in the end battle is you'd have like Jiren, since Jiren's main fight is with Goku, right? You'd have Jiren be like Peter Calamus, or even
Yeah.
Kirby Morrow, or
Yeah.
gosh, what's the other one? Ian Corlett.
Yeah. No, exactly. No, that'd be cool.
And we would get this sexiest special beam cannon.
Ah, yeah, Scott McNeil.
Special beam cannon.
Special
I would love Scott McNeil to come back.
Oh,
Astralanel or Pilina?
oh, Pilina. Dude, Pilina.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Somewhere, man. What if individual ki was attuned to a particular elemental energy? What elements would people use? Saiyans would probably just be the Fire Nation, basically. You know, fire, because, you know, they are basically the Fire Nation. Earth, well, would be Earth. The Freezer Force probably would be, probably ice, or like water and stuff. So, sort of like that. Paparazzi. What if Gohan spontaneously developed a Slavic accent? Vegeta.
Oh gosh.
There's like, I'm sorry, but your son, he is a scientist. I'd have to take dialogue coaching lessons from Hav to make sure I did it absolutely accurately and did not offend most of Eastern Europe. I'd have to make sure.
I guess it's time. I guess it's time for you to start practicing your Russian Gohan.
Hey, to be
Central Eastern Europe.
Yeah, Central Eastern Europe. Well, to be fair, 0.6 of my audience are from Poland, so you know. And to be fair, you know, Gohan's learning Chinese. So basically, it was like that was fun. So, okay. Sam Hennis, what if Ginyu changed bodies with Vegito and the fusion expired? Would the body swap be reversed, or would Ginyu's soul be torn asunder?
The age-old question. This is like
the age-old
it's a philosophical question almost.
That should be a discussion. Dragon Ball's most philosophical questions.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll make that a script. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We shall do that. The most philosophical questions are basically the dinosaur from Dragon Ball, like Velociraptor.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, we'll make a note of that. So
what's that thing on Cell's head?
yeah, exactly.
And questions like that.
Sam Hennis. So that was Sam Hennis there. Basically, I'll put that in our group chat.
Okay.
So Sam, thank you very much for your suggestion. Do expect that to be a discussion in the future. Vandalia, in the What If Chi-Chi trained scenario, how far would she have gotten in the 3 Dragon Ball tournaments, and who do you think she would have fought? Well, she does have potential and proficiency, and considering she has Ox King with the power level of 900, if we ever do What If Chi-Chi trained, I will have that in, that Ox King has a power level of 900. I will have that in there. She has a good trainer. Oh, okay. Well, Hav's told me that he has plans. He has plans for this. So let's just watch this space for a future What If. Expect that maybe in November. So just saying that. So that's just look forward to that. Mean Crank. What if Ultra Instinct was the human equivalent of Super Saiyan? Well, in theory, Mean Crank, it's very true. Ultra Instinct is not bound by the fact that you have to be a Saiyan. You can be any being that can process God Ki, can then actually.
I can has God Ki. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, I was joking. Like you know, like I can has cheeseburger. I was just I can has God Ki.
Oh yeah, that's true. Touche. So there you go. We can has God Ki, everybody. It's not a Saiyan exclusive, thankfully.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Vandalia again. What if Cell had to absorb 13 through 20 to become perfect? Ah, yes, Cell and the quest for the 7 androids. Hang on, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 8 androids.
He would have a spruce mustache and long hair.
Oh god, that would be a very interesting mesh of things. It'd be a bit of a hodgepodge, let's just say that. But it would be just Cell, Sally Potter, and the quest for the 8 magnificent androids. It's like
So what it is Cell has his own journey to find the Dragon Balls, but instead of the Dragon Balls, it's all of the androids they have to absorb.
and and it's also it's like Cell, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Said Dr. Giro.
Put your name in a goblet of fire!
Sir, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Said Dr. Giro.
I love that meme. Said Dumbledore calmly. Okay. The Somewhere Man. Yeah. The Somewhere Man. What if King Cold was a good guy? It's just his spoiled kids who are evil. Well, the thing was, though, he is lawful evil. He does not kill for the sake of it. He basically just makes things that can run an empire very well. And if it does mean the betterment of a certain type of world, then so be it. It's about what is good for the empire, financially speaking. It's just that Frieza was just more maniacal. Yeah. So in a way, he is the least evil
Out of his family, definitely.
He's the least evil somewhere. Let's just say. Paparacha, what if there was a Rankin Bass stop-motion Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Well, they already did an animated The Hobbit and animated Return of the King in the 2D animation studio that they used to do. Stop motion, I think, would have been too difficult, which is one of the reasons why I think they went with their 2D animation route back when they did The Hobbit and Return of the King after Bakshi's Lord of the Rings didn't get its sequel that it was supposed to get. So I think if they did it, it would have been a little bit wonky because I think they would have had to excise a lot of the more intense action stuff because the Rankin Bass stop motion animation was pretty jank even when people were just doing some ordinary stuff. I have fond memories of it, very fond memories of it. But if you tried to animate a battle by Rankin Bass, I don't think it would have looked pretty. I don't think it would have looked very pretty.
It looked like robots.
When there's a whip, there's a way. When there's a whip. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Shark Jumping Walrus. If you could have someone on the Z team go with Goku to train with him on King Kai's planet in the Saiyan saga, who would you pick? I'd be Krillin. I'd have Krillin. Because it'd be just like, it's those two training like in the old days. So basically, it'd just be that nice little nod back to Dragon Ball, and the two of them actually becoming, bonding in the time of Z.
Either Krillin or Yamcha.
Of course, Yamcha, which we do have in another What If of mine. I can't quite remember which one, but it does happen. Okay, Moiferman, what if Super started after the end of Z, like right after the end of Z? To be honest, it doesn't really make much of a difference because nobody really ages up. So it may as well just be right after Z ends, basically. There's no real... They say, it was 4 years after Z ended. Nobody really ages up, to be honest. So it may as well have just done, actually. So actually, it wouldn't make much of a difference. Mean Crank. What if Pilaf's gang took on a Team Rocket-like role throughout DBZ and Super? Perhaps training and using Dr. Giro's ideas to keep up with the main cast? I mean, to be honest, they sort of are, in a way, before Team Rocket was a thing.
I mean, Team Rocket is sort of based on what Pilaf Gang and other characters. I don't remember. There's a name for that type of the character. I don't recall it. Like there's a certain type. So they had very same type of role. Like this is their origin.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Lord Explosion Murder. That's a cool name. What if Goten was Bardock's reincarnation? Well, to be fair, it makes more sense than having him being Goku Black.
Or Goku's reincarnation.
Yeah, to be honest, it makes more sense. Well, basically, it would be just like an interesting, ironic twist. So, like, basically, Goten suddenly likes wearing red bandanas all of a sudden. And... just this connection. Maybe Goten then has this power of clairvoyance that nobody can explain why. Because nobody knows that Bardock could see the future. It'd just be this weird thing. So Goten has clairvoyance. So it's like, Trunks, you better do your homework! Why?
Because if you don't, your mom's gonna be really really, really cross with you. Because I can see the future.
Oh God.
There.
No.
We need to ask Jenna to do
We need to
one try of.
we need to do
Yeah.
that. Just like
To get I can see the future
I
from
can
Jenna.
see the future. Okay. Bardock reincarnation. Echo Dream. What if Gine and Bardock went to Earth with Goku? One of our age-old ones that should probably be in an FAQ in the future. But
Yeah.
basically, Bardock would just say, "Hey, is Kakarot gonna be okay? Are you gonna be okay?" Well, yeah.
Smell
guess,
you
Bardock."
later.
It's like, okay, sweet. I'm gonna go take off later. He'd check in every now and again when he felt like it or if he was nearby. But Bardock would not settle down. Gine would. Hence why we have What If Gine Came to Earth. She would. But Bardock, no. He'd just bounce and then come back every once in a while. And then Lord
He probably and probably would die on a mission somewhere.
Yeah, he probably would. Lord Explosion Murder. What if Goku and Vegeta went to Earth? If they both went to Earth at the same time, Vegeta would be powerful enough to try and take over the planet. This little kid. Goku would probably just be like the innocent, very kind of like very naive lackey. Certainly no Nappa. But basically. So yeah, you just have that. I just have to play the sound. There's someone. What if Koopa started training with Goku and Krillin? Then you would have had the biggest Native American you'd ever seen. Basically, you have Bora, by the size of Bora by the time the kid's 12. Basically.
They would have had their own giant to combat Nappa when the Saiyans arrive.
Oh man. So basically, but you'd almost know with Upa, because he has those just round black eyes like Mirio from My Hero Academia. You just have this big bulking Native American with this really, really nice face, but who could kick your ass in 2 seconds. Like that. You'd have Lemillion.
We have some plans for Upa in one.
Oh, that's
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Paparazzi says My Hero Academia headcanon is trans Mineta.
Ooh, that's kind of insulting to the trans community, but I think it could work if you gave Mineta a lot of character development and provided like an explanation for his perving as like him either overcompensating to try because he's so fiercely closeted and has a lot of internalized transphobia and misogyny that he tries to overcompensate and so when they finally realize that they are in fact trans and kind of that egg cracks and she fully comes out as a trans woman, I think you could make it work if you did it very carefully and very well and did the backstory to it very well. It would take a lot of work because Mineta is one of those characters that is very, very much a Japanese anime, Japanese culture sort of thing. They find that sort of humor, and I know that the author finds that sort of humor to be legit funny, even though it's really gross. Yeah, well, hey, Podfaracha, that's great because I am too. So I'm just saying that you'd have to work to make it work for Mineta. I think just because Mineta as a character is so vile at times with how he acts, and I do think it would go a long way toward redeeming the character, but. It would take a lot of work, and I know that that's definitely not what the actual author's going for. So you'd have to do something to mitigate the damage that's constantly being done by his character.
I think that's a really good answer, Soph. Good answer. I like that. Red Dragon, have you guys thought about doing a video on good things Pan did during DT? Much like you did with Boo and Cell this morning? That should be actually a video, to be honest, to show that Pan is not all that bad. We did talk about that as a point in another video, but we could easily make it a proper one.
That could be a series. when
Could be
we
a
talk
series.
about when we twist our usual opinions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're basically just like being a bit more open-minded in a way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Sam Hennis. What if Android 16 was designed like 17 and 18 and Cell is forced to absorb him instead of 18, resulting in an unstable mutated abomination? Basically, it'd just be like, you know, oh, you just have this big bulking guy who's just like, has rocket punch hands. That'd be awesome. Perfect Cell with rocket punch hands. With rocket fists.
He would be called Float Perfect Cell.
Ironic. It's an ironic name, let's just say.
Yeah.
Ironic. Lord Explosion Murder. What if Carba, Kale, and Caulifla were from Universe 7? Well, if they were like... Well, if they were Saiyans that escaped Planet Vegeta, or at least they were infants when they were, or if they were very lucky and they were born, like they were born from, Saiyans who had escaped, so they were younger, they would still have tails. They would have tails for a start, and they would basically still have Ozaru, and Super Saiyan would be much harder for them to acquire because of just the less refined nature. At least that's what I think.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Axel J. Have you ever considered doing a what if review series that looks at and critiques the different video game and viewer submitted what ifs? I recommend the what ifs from Budokai Tenkaichi 2 to start. It's a good idea, actually. We should probably do that one of these days, but like in a slightly different format. I wouldn't want to like do it as a conventional one. Like maybe like in front of a games console or something like that, or another part of my office to make sure like, ooh, it's different. Ooh. Because that always works. Ooh, a different setting? Interesting. But yeah, no, thanks, Axel J. Good idea. Red Dragon. What if Chi-Chi asked Gohan to participate in the children's tournament to socialize before the androids showed up? Meets and befriends Videl, of course. So maybe say like, oh, Chi-Chi says, oh, tell you what, Gohan, why don't you go to the... Because there is prize money involved. Like, say, you've been training for 3 years, so you may as well put it to good use. Like, to win some prize money. Because it's like, I think it's at least nearly 1 million zenny for the kids tournament. So, meets Videl, basically she gets the hump for losing. But basically, just that's the beginning of her interaction with Gohan. Maybe, you could say.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious how... do we know when the children's tournament was implemented?
I think it might have been the 24th. Because it said that Videl
Yeah, 'cause I
was
was-
the junior champion.
Okay, yeah. So it must have been implemented at around the time that Hercule won his championship.
Yeah, and it was a week
So-
before the tournament, before the androids showed up.
So yeah, I mean that would be pretty
Yeah.
interesting. It would definitely, I definitely think it would be a great method to get Videl to meet Gohan early, because like Gohan competing in a children's tournament, I mean he'd be the winner hands down, but that would definitely be something that would pique Videl's curiosity, much in the same way that his actions and suspicious behavior and stuff like that, as both the Gold Fighter and Saiyaman in the Buu Saga did when they were at the high school. So it'd be a great way of having those two characters sort of meet early and a cute sort of interaction between the two of them. You got Videl trying to figure out Gohan's secrets.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I agree with that. Okay, Red Dragon on behalf of Karan Sinai. What if Ryan Reynolds was in Dragon Ball's universe? Oh, total absolute subversion. You'd have the wacky fourth wall breaking character. And basically anything that he touches would turn into box office gold. Basically, I'd say. There you go. Sam Hennis, what if the Saiyans were exposed to Demon Ki? Would be interesting to see an arc where an imminent threat was immune to God Ki and the heroes have to turn to the dark side for the greater good. We sort of actually got this in Dragon Ball Heroes, because this was a thing that was used a couple of times and then never used again, where if you touched Kumba, you became a Berserk Saiyan. Because Goku touched Kumba and then went Berserk, like an evil Saiyan. So that just suddenly happened. So he basically became demonic as in like an evil Saiyan. So basically, do what they did with Cumber and Dragon Ball Heroes and just expand that, really. And Beowulf 1005, welcome. Thanks very much for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Thank you. Gobi, what if the Triad Might was sentient and formed a spiritual bond with Turles? Oh, so basically, so basically, when you consume the fruit of the tree, something gets planted within, or else a beanstalk grows in his belly. There you go. Because be careful not to eat too many, Vegeta, or else a beanstalk will grow in your belly. I still remember that. That's funny. So basically, something like, almost like a cordyceps thing, like this symbiotic bond that the Triad Might has with Turles. So basically, just enhances his power and keeps that power instead of it being a temporary boost while eating the fruit. Could be interesting. Kirby, what if Hercule learned magic, maybe from Boo? Well, that would be kind of cool. As you know, Hercule could imbue his attacks with magical elements to make him an interesting kind of power. So
Still, I think he would be against it, with the whole cheap tricks and stuff,
yeah,
Like,
I think he would use it only as a last resort. He wouldn't really resort to it all the time.
when he was in actual danger.
Yeah, in actual danger, not for a standard fight or anything like that. Lord Explosion Murder? What if Super Goku was sent into GT? Well, technically, Super Saiyan Blue would be enough to actually stop many of the baddies, because there's this debate, is Super Saiyan Blue as strong as Super Saiyan 4? Let's just say it is. It would pretty much be like enough to stop everybody, except Omega Shenron. You'd need like Gogeta Blue for that. Okay. Jesse Goff. Who contributed most to the average Earth mortal power level? Tien, Goku defeated Roshi, or Hercule in Train? By the way, taking a break from streamed content. Take care. Well, you take care too, Jesse. I imagine Tien or Tenshinhan and Goku beat Roshi because there's that direct connection between Kami and Tenshinhan.
Tien, yeah.
So
yeah,
I'd say it would be Tenshinhan. Lord Explosion Murder again? What if Vegeta was shrunk in GT instead of Goku? So basically, Vegeta became a kid. Oh man, Goku would have so much fun. Hey Vegeta, you wanna go and play? You wanna go to the theme park? Shut up, Kakarot. I may be younger in body, but I'm not in spirit. Aw, look at him. He's being all angry. It's cute. Right.
I think it would be even funnier and would allow us to actually explore a side of Vegeta we haven't seen.
Yes.
Instead of exploring a side of Goku we have seen.
It would be funny. Yes. It would be funny actually. I would want to see that. The Somewhere Man. What if every planet had a guardian capable of making some kind of Dragon Ball or related mythical relic? That would be interesting in a way. Having like not necessarily Dragon Balls, but they all have this mythical thing to have, like, because I went to go see Tenet last week, and it's like the thing called the algorithm, about this whole thing about reverse time manipulation or something like that. Something that I managed to glean from that movie. It's a Chris Nolan movie. You have to pay attention at all times for that. Mm-hmm. But essentially, there is this thing of like made up of 9 bits, and it comes out to this thing called the algorithm. And to be honest, I had PTS. I had post-traumatic stress every time hearing the word algorithm in a movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, algorithm. Please don't say that word. It's my Macbeth. Seriously. But I suppose really it'd be just like all these mythical relics. If you combine them together, they become like this thing that could like act like a Dragon Ball in a way. Could be interesting. Bring them all together. Sam Hennis. What if Saiyans could turn into a Zaru through will alone, not needing a moon or Blutz waves, and can more easily control the form? Well, they can control the form. They can control the form, even in that, with that power. It's just through mental training. So
the actual activation of the transformation, I mean, that could be that could simply come from training, in the same way that obtaining like Super Saiyan transformation and stuff. Comes from training. If you find a way to harness your energy in the right way, maybe you could simulate the Blutz wave aspect of it. But I kind of think of it sort of similarly to like a werewolves in a lot of fantasy settings. In a lot of werewolf fantasy settings, the first like however many transformations in a werewolf's life are involuntary due to the moon, but as they become more acquainted with their form, the werewolves in the actual White Wolf RPG series, Werewolf, which has the Apocalypse and the Forsaken as its things. It's same universe as like Vampire the Masquerade and stuff like that. They can transform at will, and they have multiple different kinds of like forms that they can take dependent upon their level of like ability with the transformation. So it's all a matter of like how long they've been a werewolf, how long they've had the experience, how long they've trained themselves to utilize it. I feel like the Ozaru transformation could, if there was any interest in really doing that with the characters, I think it could be utilized in much the same way.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Craig, what if instead of Shenron, it's Slifer the executive producer? Slifer no swiping. I don't know. I don't know much about the ancient Egyptian gods from Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm guessing just it would be a cool red dragon, I guess. I'm not boned up in my Yu-Gi-Oh. Sorry about that.
Yeah, same.
Kirby, what if Hirudegarn was canon in Super? I would be all for that, and not the second form, the first one. That first Hirudegarn is okay. That answer about scary things in Dragon Ball, I changed my mind. It's Hirudegarn, the first one. First Hirudegarn. Oh my god, that was like holy Ginzum. That holy Flurkin Schnit. That was seriously, that was really scary. Yeah, this muscular skull-headed kaiju.
Hirudegarn was a very interesting design as far as kaiju go, and the way that it was kind of like attached to the way that like spiritually and stuff like that, it was sort of attached to Tapion and like the aspects with like him and his ocarina and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of aspects of that movie that reminds me, especially with not just with Tapion's design as well, but like there's a lot of aspects about that movie that really, really hit the Chrono Trigger feels with me. And so like the existential aspect of like having to keep this demon sealed away constantly and having to live for that is sort of like the greater fear for me, I think, with just the sheer amount of stress. But his design, as far as monster designs go, Hirudegarn was a very, very good design.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, if it were DBZ and we ever got to that movie, I would still be fighting every single time for Tapion to do the da 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 da.
Yeah.
Oh, Dragon Sword! you got to have it. Either that or Ocarina of Time, whichever one's less predictable or will be well received. You know, da 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 da. There you go.
I do love the Dragon Dagger music. Very good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Paparacha, what if Cronoa made Doofenshmirtz a part of Time Patrol for inventing time travel and making it mainstream as Professor Time? Because Cronoa's Temporal Incorporated. Basically, you know, normalizing time control, so long as you basically would like... Basically, it's like with drones. You have to have a license to be able to travel through time.
Ah, you see, Perry the Platypus, I joined this organizations with those teenagers with glowing yellow hair.
And that Perry is still not convinced. Yeah. And then Cronoa's like, Perry the Platypus? I'm your biggest fan. It's like, what? You're turning traitors with me? It's like, no, it's just Perry the Platypus, dude. Come on. I've seen it throughout history. He does incredible stuff. Really? Well, you can't tell me? It's like, no, that would go against Time Patrol Edict. Ah, shucks. Okay. Craig Twitchell, what if Them, Goku, and Ranch had girl transformations? What?
Wait, what?
Oh, magical girl transformations into Super Saiyan. Oh, no, Ranch...
Oh my gosh.
Ranches would be badass for a start. Like, in back in the day in Kemper Abridged, like I miss that. I miss that so much. But it's just like, Shizuku, the class president, her transformation music, I'm a bitch. And her transformation, the only difference was that she had silver in the back of her hair, like behind the hair. It's like, I've transformed. And the guy's like, you haven't really changed anything. I did. My hair. It's the same. No, there isn't. It's silver in it. That makes it cooler. I miss that. I miss making that show. I miss that. But the thing is, though, I need to edit some of those jokes out. Seriously.
Well, I mean, that's sort of true of everyone's early works.
Red Dragon, there was the OVA season 2, and it sucked. There was an OVA. It was awful. It sucked. It was like with Dokuro-chan. Dokuro-chan season 2 was terrible. Season 1 of Dokuro-chan. Season 1 of that was amazing. Just the fact that
I watched that, and it was the most incredible, weird parody show I'd ever seen.
I mean, exactly.
Guys, you pushed Masses Nam flashback button.
Sorry. Sorry. But basically, it was just like, at the first, she takes his head off and then she go, stop it, Dokuro-chan. I told you I don't like that. Don't stop beating me. And then her
I love when she turned him into Admiral Perry.
Oh, Admiral Mark Perry. It's like, open the country. Stop having it be closed.
Stop having it be closed.
And then her Dokuro's little sister, who's 9 years old but looks 19. Well, that's
oh
Japan
God,
that's Japan for you. Anyway, let's move on. Craig Twitchell, what if Ranch was in Winx Club? Same thing. There you go.
Same thing.
Echo Dream. This one's for me. What if you did a what if mashup, i.e. Raditz and Nappa turning good with a living good Vegeta and Frieza turning good? Oh, one of these days I'm going to have a 2-minute animated skit of a sitcom with all my what ifs mashed up together. And basically, it's like, hurry up everyone, Krenoa's coming to dinner. It's like, Nappa, you've got to, it's like, Nappa, you've got to be on your best. Oh, okay, Vegeta. Which Vegeta are you talking to? That one. That doesn't help because that one. So it's the boss is coming to dinner. Yeah, be that. Okay. SkyYoung88. What if Gohan was the main character and unlocks all the things that Goku unlocks? As Dragon Ball Z should have been. That's what Dragon Ball Z was supposed to be. Honestly.
Yeah. There should have been a proper passing of the torch.
There really should have been. Like, no joke. There really absolutely should have been. Pasho. What if What if capsule technology was never invented? Well, it certainly would have meant that Bulma would have had to really camp, overnight and not have access to a house.
I think it would have been a little bit hard because the Hoi Poi capsule industry is sort of what put Capsule Corp on the map. Hence why they're called Capsule Corp. If the Hoi Poi capsules never became a thing, they probably would have still had some kind of technological thing as far as that all goes. Because I mean, Dr. Brief is still a genius, and Bulma's still a genius, but without capsule technology to make the journeying easier on somebody like Bulma, especially how she was when she was younger, I don't think she would have wanted to go on the journey to find the Dragon Balls. So you wind up in a situation where without capsule technology, you probably still wouldn't. I mean, there would probably be some good things that benefit as well, because if capsule technology wasn't a thing, the Red Ribbon Army also wouldn't have had quite as much power as it had, because it had part of the patents on some of that stuff as far as that goes. But like Bulma wouldn't have journeyed out to Mount Paozu, wouldn't have met Goku. And it would have probably resulted in a major problem when either Pilaf successfully managed to become king of the world, or at some point in time, either Demon King Piccolo is released, or Raditz shows up.
But yeah, exactly. Red Dragon. What if Pan grew her tail from looking at the Earth like Goku did to Golden Ozaru, becoming a regular Ozaru alongside him? That would have been a really nice touch, you know. Grandpa gorilla with granddaughter gorilla. Just a touching moment.
That would have been fun.
That would have been cute, you know. And Gohan would have wiped the tears just like her old dad, just like her old man, you know.
Yeah.
Generation.
Gives him flashbacks to the Saiyan saga. In the meantime, baby Vegeta is wondering why he's having horrible flashbacks to Vegeta's memories of being crushed beneath Gohan.
Gohan's butt. Exactly. Kirby, what if the Kamikaze Fireballs were willing to teach how to transform with love? Which characters would be most proficient with it?
Krillin. And Yamcha. Krillin, Yamcha.
Krillin and Yamcha.
Yep.
There you go. Honorary members of the Kamikaze Fireballs. And I'm just going along because the name sounds cool. That would be Yamcha. Grey Twitcher, what if Perfect Self used with Shin? He'd get weaker.
Yes.
There you go. He'd be weaker.
He would be stronger than Frieza, but he would be weaker.
He'd be stronger than Frieza, because everyone says that you have to be stronger than Frieza. There you go. Heartless Fang. What if Cell was programmed to protect the world from the aliens, Goku, etc., and go out of his way to protect humans? So basically, Cell was to protect humans. So basically, Krillin just goes, not so fast, Cell. I am a human, and I command you not to harm my friend. It's like, you can't be serious. It's like, you're programmed. I've seen your blueprints and everything. Ha ha. It's like,
you can paradox. You can paradox him easier. Like first issue, the Guardian of Earth is an Namekian. Therefore it's an alien. Therefore he's protecting Earth. Therefore you cannot protect. Like if you kill the Guardian of the Earth, you are destroying Earth's protection. But you are also part alien, so you are alien. So to protect Earth from the aliens, you need to eliminate yourself. So.
Yeah, exactly. Time paradox.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
Divide by zero moment there.
Yeah, his head explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Nucleus explodes.
Aha!
I could just picture Cell being like he suddenly gets this like look of pure calm on his face, and he's just like, an interesting move. The only way to win is not to play.
Good evening. Greetings, Professor Falcon. How about a nice game of chess? That War Games. It's on Netflix now. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Red Dragon. What if Future Gohan returned during the Black Arc to help out Future Trunks? Well, he doesn't really have that much power, but I suppose really it'd just be for like your mental fortitude and to like for boosting morale, perhaps. So it'd be just there as guidance, I imagine. Paparacha asked me to sing "Grab a Bowl" as Goku Black. I like food 'cause it is yummy. I will put this in my tummy, and it's subarashi. All we have to do is go, sip some tea.
Subarashi.
Alright. If only Blackscape was here. Alright, Red Dragon Force 2. On behalf of Jonathan Miller. What if the characters of Ruby were in Dragon Ball, including all the way up to Super? Reminds me of why my What If Yang and Budokai long ago. Oh man, Yang and Goku would still be besties for sure.
I've never watched Ruby, so I can't
I've
really
not really watched much of it either, to be honest. I've watched half of season 1, and it really did not grip me, to be honest. But
yeah, I couldn't get into it.
All I'd say is really that. Oh, okay. I've got to link this. I've got to link this in the chat. Haverock's been very bored. He's not been paying much attention and has created this.
I do. I am paying more attention,
I
but
know,
I'm waiting for
teasing.
opening, and you guys have so many great arguments, and I cannot add more.
There you
So
go.
I'm like,
There you go.
I'm not bored. I just
no, it's a
Dr.
joke.
Lychee,
We're joking, Hab. Don't worry.
Dr. Lychee is just staring into my soul.
That's an Owo face. Oh, it's like, oh, what's this? No, don't. It's a joke, Hab. Don't worry.
I know,
Okay, and Sparks Manticore. What if Nappa had been Android 19 Super Saiyan, but with the infinite engine of 17 and 18?
Oh boy. Well, here's the biggest thing. A Super Saiyan Nappa would be interesting as a concept. But the real thing is that Saiyans get more powerful through actual like physical experience. You know, the entire concept of the Zenkai boost is whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So they'd actually have to have some form of physical training in order to actually achieve a high enough power level that the multiplier from Super Saiyan would have been worthwhile. Even if you sort of like pushed Nappa to be within the same general power range as like androids 19 and 20, that would probably be about where his Super Saiyan power level would be capped by any realistic standard. Because we know that Dr. Gero didn't get to observe much when it came to the fight against like the Saiyans, and then didn't get to observe anything when it left when they left the planet to go like to Namek and stuff. So even though he'd have the ability to, you know, dissect Nappa while turning him into an android and see how it makes it tick, he probably wouldn't have been able to enhance Nappa's power very far beyond what he's already managed to accomplish with 19 and 20, the bodies of 19 and 20. If that's going to be the case. 17 and 18, meanwhile, you know, the infinite energy engine stuff, even if you wanted to say like, oh, well, 17 and 18 were just ordinary teenagers when they got the infinite energy engine, he also had it's implied that he had a much longer period of time with which to work on them. I mean, after all, they are the prototypes that came before he started working on the technology that led to 19 and 20. But I feel like Nappa was heading towards that point age-wise, that he probably wouldn't be as prime a specimen as 17 or 18, or even say Raditz, because Nappa's kind of getting to that point to where he's probably approaching, by the time of the Android Saga, he's probably approaching older age, you know, hitting that point with Saiyan biology where his body will start to give out. So I think you'd wind up with a Nappa that could probably like go toe to toe with Vegeta when Vegeta shows back up, and you'd get to have kind of a resolution where like Nappa tries to take his vengeance on Vegeta, and Vegeta ultimately like wins out. It's not as easy of a fight as it is against 19, but still like Nappa takes his vengeance on Goku right from the get-go, and then Vegeta's the one who comes up and kind of, you know, kills Nappa again, just for good measure.
It's like, it felt good the first time, it feels even better the second time. Yeah. Anyway, well, with that, that's it. We are all done for today. Thank you so much, you two, for all of your hard work. And incidentally, I found an article that apparently in Ireland, Subway bread rolls contain so much sugar, they are basically not considered bread.
Wow.
So I'm saying...
That's insane.
So Goku says that Subway sandwiches are cakes.
They are cakes.
Yeah.
Wait. Are you sure they'd be a cake and not a muffin?
No, because I don't know. It's just going to be like the Jaffa cake all over again. Is it a biscuit or is it a cake?
We need to ask Mark. We need to ask Mark about this, but you know he hates sweets, so he probably hates Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, probably. But either way, that's your takeaway for tonight, folks. You hear sandwich, you hear good breaded or like pastry or No, it's a pastry. There you go. It's a
Yeah.
it's a pastry.
Yep.
It's a patisserie. Subway patisserie. Anyway, thank you all so much for all of your contributions, everybody. It really does help support the channel immensely in this time. I do hope you're all staying safe out there, and I hope that you all have a good rest of your weekend. And I shall see you all on Saturday for What If Frieza Had a Son Part 4.
Yeah.
So, take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Bye.
Bye.